Welcome to the C4 Canucks Hockey Podcast.
Every week, they talk about the Vancouver Canucks with a fair amount of nonsense thrown in.
Sure, they're never the first with the news, nor the best connected, and definitely more off the rails than on.
But they've been talking puck the longest, and that counts for something, right?
So strap in for the longest running, best mediocre Canucks Hockey Podcast.
It's C4 with Chris and Anna.
Hi, Anna. Hi, Craig.
Hi, Chris. Hi, Craig. We're just talking to our friendly neighborhood robot.
That's right. Who is always listening, always recording.
Yeah.
Totally
it's not
above
alarming
board.
at all.
How you been?
Well, we've been sharing our woes. We've certainly had adventures this weekend. I moved house and my movers were late and broke things. And you had just a small household fire.
Well, so I look at it this way. I was watching the Vancouver Whitecaps FC win the Western Conference final. They're off to the MLS Cup final next weekend against Inter Miami. One might argue the Whitecaps were on fire, and I attempted to emulate that while barbecuing hamburgers.
And
but
you
yeah, I had a
immolated.
grease fire.
Yeah.
Just to put everyone at ease. Everyone's okay. The house is okay. The burgers were charred, and if you got past the charred crust, they were actually pretty good on the inside.
That's what I say about me on my dating profile.
If that's not true, I'm going to be so disappointed. And then today I had to try to clean up that mess. I mean, I used a fire extinguisher, which again, if you don't have one in your home,
Yeah,
very
this is a good
important to have
reminder,
something like this.
actually.
And
As
you
I'm
want to get
setting
one
up my
that's
new
like
home.
multifaceted. Like the one we had was sort of, you could deal with grease fires, other types of what have you. And so this was a grease fire. And grease fires, like you can't throw water on those. Water is bad. Water almost acts like fuel with a grease fire because
It is not water off a duck's back.
No, not water off a duck's back. We're going to talk a lot about ducks this week. That's a good segue. As we announced last episode, we are now the best mediocre, and I've laid claim to it already, the longest running Vancouver Goldeneyes podcast. But we're also already that for the Vancouver Canucks. It just made it easier to have the same tagline for both. I'm genuinely actually curious. Is there another Goldeneyes podcast out there?
I mean, maybe. There's certainly PWHL podcasts. I mean,
but see, that's the thing is, that's not a Goldeneyes podcast.
No, I agree.
Right?
I agree.
That's PWHL primary. There's other content creators out there who do Canucks. They're talking Goldeneyes. We have one of them joining us next week, Lachlan Irving. Yeah. You all know him. He's locking a crease. Does the Stanchies on the reg. He's covering the Goldeneyes. He's covering the Canucks, obviously, too. He's going to join you and I to talk both next week. But as far as podcasts go, as far as I know, we're the only one so far. But it's not something that you can easily search because Google can't quite compute all that yet.
Yeah, well, let's just say it until someone fights us.
Yeah, well, that's how I laid claim to being the longest running Canucks podcast. And there were two that I had suggested as being potential rivals to that claim. One easily conceded because they actually started, having done the math, 7 months after us. And then the other one is technically whatever Wyatt and Bowman might be doing at any given time.
Yeah.
But the problem is they have had 3 podcasts.
And they took a year hiatus at least. So that does
right.
not count.
It's not like you rebranded. They've had 3 distinctly different shows and hiatuses. Is that the plural? Or is it just hiatus?
I don't know. But I am disinclined to give them the benefit of the doubt.
No, and to his credit, Wyatt on one of our holiday live shows, he agreed. We're the longest running Canucks podcast. So we are too the longest running Goldeneyes podcast. Welcome to any new listeners who've, tuned in to check us out. Hopefully we don't embarrass ourselves too much talking about the Goldeneyes this week, but it has been not the best week. If you happen to be a Vancouver Goldeneyes fan, it's not been the best week. if you're a Vancouver Canucks fan, though,
We've had
considering how
worse.
you and I, sort of set the week up, it wasn't that bad. So yeah, we're going to get into the week that was for both of our two Vancouver professional hockey franchises. And then when we get in half full, half empty, we're going to pivot more specifically to the Vancouver Canucks because some things were said, some news was shared over the course of the week, and there are some changes coming to play potentially here in Vancouver. But before all that, let's dive into Rewind. So as is sort of our approach, we're going to kick off the week that was with the team that played first in the week that was. So that would be the Vancouver Canucks. The Vancouver Canucks got their week underway by going into Anaheim to play the Ducks. And you and I both presumed that Vancouver would go into Anaheim and, should be noted, lose.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, if you look at this week, it's just like, wait, the game they won was against Anaheim? Like, Anaheim have been a really fun team. They've been, playing some good hockey. So,
yeah. But before they go into Anaheim and beat Anaheim, it should be noted that word comes out that Kevin Lankinen is staying home due to personal reasons. Now, I don't know if anything has come out as to what was going on. Anytime you hear, personal reasons, you do concern yourself with the health and well-being of the player and the player's family, and the situation. So I'm not looking to make light of that. But when Thatcher Demko is already hurt, he apparently made the road trip, but has not dressed. Lankinen not making the trip, and the team under emergency call-up is bringing back Patera, who has already been here, but then was sent down because Tolopilo is healthy. Tolopilo should be up here. You have Tolopilo starting, Patera backing him up. So you can't think that the Vancouver Canucks are going into Anaheim to win.
right.
What do the Vancouver Canucks know about expectations?
Yeah. And interesting game. Like, honestly, a fun break from, the slog of the Canucks season, which was like the end-to-end kind of pond hockey that the Canucks and Ducks did. And I think it did highlight that, yes, the Ducks are playing very well this year, but like they're still a very young team because defense very much optional.
Oh, it was a wild and crazy game. Wide open-ish. First period, maybe not so much. The Vancouver Canucks were simply scoring on almost every shot they took.
Yeah.
But that's sort of the way the Canucks have been as of late. To put things into perspective, they'd had a 2-goal lead in the first period on 5 shots.
Normal.
I mean, can't knock
They
that.
had more shots on goal than goals, which isn't always the case.
Yeah, it's true. Tolopilo was, doing what he could to keep his team in it early. Vancouver Canucks got a power play goal. I mean, things are looking on the up and up. And then the second period starts. And the problem of taking late penalties is they carry over from one period to the other.
Oh, is that how that works?
Yeah, and 9 seconds into the second period, Anaheim has cut the lead to 1. But don't worry. 9 minutes later, Connor Garland, he of only so tall, scores to give the Canucks the 2-goal cushion they needed. And boy, did they need it. Because late in the period, Leo Carlson and Mason McTavish tie the game up. So going into 3, the Vancouver Canucks, who've now arguably played a more engaged period offensively in the second, they were generating opportunities. Yeah, they got 2 goals on 5 shots on the first period, but the second period, they seemed to be more dangerous. Defensively, YOLO!
Yeah. And yeah, it was just like, that's what it was. It was end to end. It was fun to watch, but like, yeah, they have such young players. They just, weird what happens when you have high draft picks. Like,
apparently you can get good off the draft, but what do you know? Guys may never play. Okay,
yeah.
Off the rails here. I agree that there is no guarantee when you get high draft picks that they'll turn into blue chip players. But when you have the opportunity to have 4 high draft picks, I'm just thinking the math there says the odds are in your favor. One of them is going to cash out. Maybe 2.
just like the difference between top 5 and top 10 even is huge. Like stockpiling those top 3, top 5 draft picks is just massive. Like a lot of the Ducks high-end players, offensive players, obviously, are from that like high draft class. So like,
Yeah.
that's the way to go.
But, unfortunately for the Ducks, their youthfulness got taken advantage of by a Vancouver Canucks team who's got a good number of Jags that know how to, do the veteran stuff. Max Sasson got himself another goal, gives the Vancouver Canucks that lead back. Drew O'Connor scores an empty net. And because the Vancouver Canucks won't always make it interesting right down to the final whistle, they allowed a goal to, make it a 1-goal lead with 7 seconds left. And, the subsequent face-off, thankfully, did not result in another goal. Though, again, the Canucks were like, hey, let's just make it interesting here.
Yeah, truly.
Anaheim wins the face-off and gets an opportunity.
Bodies. Yeah. It was pretty desperate Dan moments there. But yeah, let's take a quick peek at the power play. Canucks score 1 for 3. And
on fire, Anna.
Yeah, and Ducks are 1 for 6. Like, that's a good looking penalty kill and a decent power play percentage. Hold on to those numbers.
So the Vancouver Canucks then had to go to San Jose to play a game at 2 a.m. or whatever god-awful time it happened to be on Friday. I know
American Thanksgiving. I know, but like it's not even a federal holiday, right? The day after Thanksgiving.
Black Friday. It's a shopping day.
But like,
many people take it off.
1 p.m. Pacific. 1 p.m. local time.
I missed a good portion of the game. I got home and I watched like the last 5-ish minutes of it. It was. It wasn't a game that I had the opportunity to consume much of, but based on what little I've been catching up on, apparently it was not only an early start for both the teams playing, it was a particular earlier start for the referees that chose to officiate. And it didn't matter what fan you happened to be, because the calls were mysterious every Sunday. It was nuts.
Yeah, it was so odd. Everything about that game was odd. It was strange timing, starting at 1 p.m. Strange officiating. Like, I can't believe a veteran referee was so upset that a player was mad at him that he gives Quinn Hughes, of all people, as an unsportsmanlike conduct.
Well, okay, in fairness, Quinn Hughes was not the only player who got mad at a referee and got penalized for being mad.
But, it's just an insane, standard set, because literally maybe 5 minutes later, Will Smith, gestured for a penalty. Are you going to give him an unsportsmanlike? Because he didn't swear, you don't give him one? He didn't get one, obviously. But the referee was just crazy sensitive.
Hey, if you were uncertain, if you, Anna, and I were being biased in the fact we're Canucks fans, and the Canucks lost this game 3-2. They had 2 leads. They blew them both. Adam Gaudette scored the winner.
Hockey god.
There is a sequence of play late in the game. Vancouver has the empty net. They also have a power play because future Vancouver Canuck Macklin Celebrini, he got a penalty for cross-checking. It was a cross-check. I don't know if many referees would call that penalty sort of at that point or that stage of the game, except for the fact that the Vancouver Canucks at the time were themselves on the penalty kill. It felt to me more like an even up.
Yeah, for sure. And obviously that must have been after the missed penalty where Macklin Celebrini throws an elbow.
Yeah.
Is about an inch from Max Sasson's face. But he didn't make contact. So honestly, Celebrini is a fantastic hockey player and seems like a very sweet human.
He does get angry a lot.
He is kind of cynical in a way. Like, I don't know if that comes from leading a team at his young age, as he is. Like, the fact that he's already an alternate captain is kind of crazy. But yeah, he is a bit of an S house.
Yes. The sequence, though, going back to what I was trying to describe, it is the dying seconds of the game. The likelihood that Vancouver is going to get the puck out of the corner are slim. The Sharks, however, take a couple liberties with Les Pettersson. He gets cross-checked once, gets cross-checked again, and just, obliterated in the ice. The Vancouver Canucks, who are on the ice at this time, respond. And this is something you and I have spoken about in the past, where the team does need to sort of respond to transgressions, especially against their star players. Kiefer Sherwood came in. Brock Besser went like completely mental, and big scrum ensues. Who out of the Vancouver Canucks do you think gets 2 minutes for roughing in this scrum? None other than Elias Pettersson, who somehow, I guess, beat the daylights out of the ice when he fell on it hard.
Yeah, it was bizarre. Yeah, like, that's exactly it. Like, it wasn't just like it was bias. It was bizarre. It was just like, he didn't, like, why did he get that penalty? Why did other Canucks not get anything?
Kiefer Sherwood and Brock Besser, like, both, like, if they had said third man in or something like that, I would have been upset. But yeah, Brock was number 3, like, or Kiefer was number, like, that was the weirdest thing. Petey on the ice, 2 minutes for roughing.
Yeah.
And like, when he got up, it was clear he was looking for a partner, but all the partners had been grabbed. So then he's just like, okay, I'll just skate away.
That was so weird.
Penalty. Anyhow, I mean, the Vancouver Canucks on the power play did not do so hot.
Yeah.
And on the penalty kill, did not do so hot either.
Yeah. So is 1 for 3 better than 0 for 8? I think it is.
I'm doing my math here, Anna, and I'm pretty confident 1 for 3 is better.
There you go.
Anyhow, Vancouver loses to the Sharks 3-2, moves off to LA, and LA, the officiating maybe was better.
It was
all
certainly
things
better
being
because
relative.
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
But how many replays and disallowed goals were there? Like a dozen?
3.
Yeah, give or take.
Give or take. But yeah, it was a very weird. It was weird because they were all in a row.
Mm-hmm.
It was, yeah. Okay. Also, just to go back to that San Jose game,
there was a goal that was allowed late, which arguably I've seen disallowed before too.
Yeah, and going back to the San Jose game, the puck being definitively across the line. Could you see the puck in that webbing? I could not. No, I don't understand. Like, I can understand that being given on the ice, but the fact that it was no goal and then they found that puck, couldn't see it myself. Mm-hmm. So, but they could see that tiny sliver of the puck that had not crossed the line for Petey's goal against LA. Yeah, it was an odd game in terms of goals that weren't. Yeah. Also, the review for the high stick, that was another strange moment. Like, Marcus Pettersson.
It really wasn't that high. I mean, his face was on the ice or something like that.
But Marcus Pettersson gets hit with the puck and then the stick, and then they decide, no, it was just the puck. It's like, okay, if you're slowing it down and really examining it and you can't see the stick, it's just like that 4-minute power play might have been quite useful.
Anyhow.
I mean, who knows? It's the Canucks, but...
True. I mean, the Vancouver Canucks did get power play opportunities. They went 0-4. At least the penalty kill shut the Kings down. But neither of these teams were really interested in shooting the puck a whole lot.
No.
And I don't know if that was just a matter of neither team really wanted to lose and arguably did a really good job at not losing until overtime.
So we saw another fun Canucks overtime where they just try and keep the puck and not shoot it, which again didn't work out. Yeah, didn't work out.
PD fall down. It happens. Got sharpen the skates. But over time the ice is a little bit rough. They don't do a full flood. They just scrape it. What are your thoughts on the goal? So I'd inferred that it went to a review and it was allowed. Should it have been? I mean, we're Canucks fans. We have a particular bias. But does that goal count in your mind? Or was there goaltender interference? Oh, and it should be noted, Lankinen's back in net at this point. So yay, Patera back down Abbotsford.
And it should be noted that goalies are voodoo and goaltender interference is kind of voodoo. Like, it's not the worst one I've seen. I wasn't up in arms about it.
No, when I saw the replay made it look worse. Like, Los Angeles player does go into the blue, but gets out, definitively stands at the top of the crease, knowing any goaltender coming across the crease at that point will likely make contact. Now, Lankinen, as Lankinen is apt to do, overplayed the initial opportunity and found himself, halfway to Narnia and was trying to dive back to make the save. And, oh, look, LA player in the way, can't get across, goal. Was I up in arms? No. When I saw the replay, hey, this one might have a chance. And that's not because I'm thinking it was clearly interference. It's because, to your earlier point, who knows what goaltender interference really is when it's called. Anyhow.
But yeah, it was just like a series of iffy decisions over a couple of days.
Vancouver gets 3 points, though. 3 points out of a possible 6. And in our books, that's a good week. Especially when you and I were predicting. I think I gave them 0. You gave them 1. So
I
said exceeded
1.
expectations.
I think I said 1 against LA. So
Well, let's talk a little bit about the Goldeneyes, the other Vancouver team who had a couple of games to play. So the Vancouver Goldeneyes, they had 2 games on the road. The first happened on Wednesday against the Ottawa Charge, and it started well-ish. And I mean ish in the sense of, I don't know, the first couple of minutes of the game. Well, not even the first couple of minutes.
It's like 2 minutes, 11 seconds.
The first minute. So what we saw with the inaugural game here at home was a team that was looking to use speed and puck control to its advantage. Yeah, there's some defensive lapses, but things that you and I thought could be ironed out. Now, prior to puck dropping, Sarah Nurse was scratched. She had picked up a knock day to day. And, thinking back, she took a pretty bad knock in that inaugural game. She got off the ice.
Actually before then and kind of rallied to play the home opener.
Yeah. So that didn't help. But Emma Greco went in for, what would normally be your average defensive check at the top of the zone where you look to rub a player out on the boards. Problem is she had her stick in both hands across her body at about neck high and proceeded to use said stick to polish, I don't know which Charge player it was, but polish their helmet, which when you watch in real time, is not good. When you watch the replay, straight to jail. And she got a 5-minute major. Not a good way to start a game. Yeah, and a game misconduct. I mean, it was a bad hit.
It was bad hit.
No doubt.
I don't have a problem with that happening. It's just 5 minutes major to start the game is not. It's not good.
No, and Ottawa, to their credit, took that opportunity, but 10 or 15 seconds after the penalty, to score the first goal on a 5-minute major. But that's all they got. So Vancouver, the Goldeneyes, they're still in this game. The problem is that they were in the game, but they didn't ever really come across as a team who was in the game collectively together. A
Yeah.
lot of, loose play with the puck, giveaways galore. They didn't seem to really have a cohesive plan. There were some bright periods. I think I don't know if the penalty had just expired or it was about to expire. But I'm trying to think who it was. Was it Abby Barine that I think had a breakaway? Maybe.
But yeah, and breakaways do seem to be their method. And honestly, yeah, some of their best chances came in the third on shorthanded. So yeah.
But the problem is, by that point, the game was well out of hand. Like the Charge, scored a goal in the second.
Yeah.
And they, in fairness, got a empty netter late to really blow it out. But Mashmeyer did everything that she could to keep the Goldeneyes in the game.
Oh yeah,
she was cooking. Bad choice. She went for a poke check.
Yes,
but hey,
definitely not to blame for that loss. And yeah, there was some really defensive lapses. The first goal, it's like she was completely screened. No one was doing anything about it. There was she was definitely let down by her defense in this game.
Yeah. And, one of the things that we saw in the first game, and we saw it against the Ottawa Charge, is Vancouver was very disciplined on the ice. They only took one additional penalty. It was a delay of game penalty by Katie Chan. And this was late. So sure, 5-minute major ain't that good. But the Vancouver power play never really looked like it could settle down, get control of the puck. And I think that has more to do with the fact that there's just sort of this distinct lack of chemistry. Like it is clear, or becoming more clear, they are an expansion team with a number of players who are coming together for the first time and trying to figure things out.
Yeah, that's for sure.
But they lose 5-1, and after a game like that, you're like, you put it behind you and you move on. And that's what they did. They went into Newark to take on the New York Sirens Saturday morning. I missed this game in its entirety. I can't speak to it. Why? Eye exam. And I got some bad news, Anna. I've been told not only has my prescription increased, so I need new glasses, the doctor has recommended I get glasses for driving at night. Not because I can't see, but I have astigmatism. And so it often feels like when I'm driving at night that I'm in like a J.J. Abrams movie with a ton of lens flare.
So the next question is, when are you starting refereeing in the NHL?
That's a good point. Not yet, but
if it gets any worse, maybe. Pocket. Yeah.
But you yourself as well didn't have an opportunity to take in the game because this moving business you were up to.
Moving business, but yes, have seen the 10-minute highlight package.
Yeah, and what did you think?
So, I mean, speaking of, we were saying best opportunities Vancouver had to get on the score sheet in Ottawa was on the penalty kill. Well, obviously, that came back to bite them. The reverse, because they were jailbroken or whatever the term is. Because, New York scored a short-handed goal against them. It was just an interesting rule. So maybe if everyone isn't familiar with all the different rules, one of them is if you score a goal shorthanded, you spring your player from the penalty box.
Yeah. So the question came up in our Discord channel, our Discord server, c4discord.io/c4podcast. The way I explained it, when a 2-minute minor penalty is awarded in the PWHL, there are 3 ways to end that penalty. The first way is the team on the power play scores a goal, penalty's over, player comes out. Don't want that, though, when you're trying to kill that, because obviously you've given up a goal. So the 2 ways that you, as the penalty kill team, can deal with it, kill the penalty over the 2-minute time, or alternatively, as you had pointed out, score a goal on shorthanded.
Yeah.
That is a jailbreak goal. And lo and behold, the penalized player who was sitting in the box feeling a ton of shame feel significantly less shame because they're free.
I mean, I do think it must be such a boost to score a jailbreak goal, and it is fun. Like, I'm still on the fence about it and whether I think it's good in terms of game balance, but yeah, I think it still is a fun one. We've discussed the rules in general. Obviously, the point system makes sense. The NHL needs to get on that 3-2-1 point system. I don't love the no exit or whatever it's called rule, where if you take a penalty, everyone has to stay on the ice.
It's like it's an icing. Like icing.
Yeah. I don't love that because I'm just like, I think you've been penalized enough by taking a player away.
I view that rule as being the balance out to the jailbreak.
Yeah, and I see that. I just think, to me,
I'm like... The reward to the team on the power play is not only the power play itself, but the fact that you could potentially have some tired players who don't normally kill penalties.
Yeah, and I guess that's my point of view, is like the strategy and the tactics of having PK units. What's the point if you have to wait like to get them on? But yeah, I'd see that. But yeah, honestly, I thought it looked like they had even less chance of really getting into the game than the Ottawa game.
They looked very much in this game like it was a preseason tilt where it was the first game they all sort of met each other. We saw an opportunity to see what Kristen Campbell has. She started as opposed to Emma Smashmeyer. Campbell was okay, but it was clear to me that Mash is the number one. We're not talking about a 1A, 1B or a close number 2 here.
And honestly, that has been maybe not as strong as 1A, 1B, but before the season started, everyone kind of looked at Vancouver as having the strongest goaltender tandem. And that's not to say that won't happen, or like Kristen Campbell's like objective, like a lot weaker. But yeah, there was definitely a difference. She was definitely not like standing on her head to help out her defense that had abandoned her.
But even if she was standing on her head, I don't think Vancouver wins this game.
No, I don't think so either. There was some bright spots. Jen Gardner had a good game, and I do think she can become a real star in Vancouver. Obviously, we're still without Sarah Nurse, so yeah, that's really hurting the team.
I haven't seen any updates. I know she was considered day-to-day, but have you heard anything as to whether or not she'll be returning soon?
I'm hoping PWHL reporting gets better, especially when it comes to star players. But like, I remember trying to find out if one of the players that I really enjoyed watching on Connecticut Whale was playing for Montreal when they came to town last year, and trying to find injury updates on a non-star player in like a different city is just impossible. So yeah, we'll see.
If I have a complaint, and it's one that's applicable to both the Goldeneyes and the Canucks, they put it all into Twitter or X. Right. They're pretty good on Instagram. Almost everything else is a hit, hit or miss. Yeah. I'm big into Blue Sky. I have sort of talked to our listeners, Threads a little bit, but I did not know Sarah Nurse was out until such time as I saw it shared in another Discord server, because as I'm not on X, I don't get those updates. And they hadn't used their, when I last checked, Blue Sky account for like 3 weeks. So anyhow.
That's still, not quite there yet.
Yeah, looking ahead at the week that will be for the Goldeneyes, they have a couple of games. They play on Wednesday in Boston against the Boston Fleet. And then they end up coming home to take on those New York Sirens here in Vancouver. The game in Boston is a 4 p.m. puck drop Pacific. The game here in Vancouver, 12 noon. The 12 noon start on Saturday will be in direct competition with the, I think it's an 11:30 Pacific time kickoff for the MLS Cup final that the Vancouver Whitecaps will be playing Inter Miami in. If you happen to be a Whitecaps FC and a Goldeneyes supporter, you're going to have one on your one device and one on another, or go to the Goldeneyes game and watch on your cell phone. I don't know. But Anna, How do you think the Goldeneyes will do against Boston and New York?
Well, Boston
Neither one of us
won.
got this past week right, because I
Yeah.
predicted an undefeated season. I was wrong.
Yeah, and I predicted they beat New York, which they didn't. So Boston have won both their opening games against Montreal and Toronto. Two decent-ish teams. I would say Toronto is very hit or miss. So I think that's going to be another tough game. I do think the home advantage will be massive for Vancouver, so I'm predicting a loss and a win.
Yeah. I, too, see a loss and win. I don't think they're going to beat Boston, but I do believe they bounce back against the Sirens.
Yeah.
Plus, they got the home energy vibes.
Yeah, and I'm going to be there, so they should.
Yeah, they should. They have to impress you, Anna. That's what's most important.
Exactly.
And then the Vancouver Canucks, they too have a handful of games. They finish up the road trip in Colorado Tuesday night, and then they come home for a back-to-back game against the Utah Mammoth Friday night, 6 p.m. puck drop, just so those of you know that that's a little bit different than usual, and the Minnesota Wild on Saturday night, 7 p.m. puck drop. Anna, how do you think they're going to do against the Avs, the Mammoth, and the Wild?
Lose, win.
Okay, I was going to say lose, win, lose. So we both give them a win.
Yeah.
What the Canucks will do is they'll beat the Avs. It'll be like 10-1 or something like that.
I mean, just this past week, Minnesota have beaten the Avs, but then they turn around and lose to Chicago. So, like,
yeah, we never
make
know.
it make sense. Or, sorry, the reverse happened, but yes.
Yeah.
And then they lost to Buffalo.
Yeah, well, whatever. We're going to take a short break. You're listening to the C4 Canucks Hockey Podcast, otherwise known as the C4 Hockey Podcast. It's going to take me a moment to get that sorted. I apologize, but I will. It's new. I'm Chris, she's Anna, and this show's brought to you by us.
Take hitting out of the game. You can't hit anymore, so don't do it.
The unsportsmanlike conduct, I want to get an explanation on that.
No kidding.
Because how do you get suspended for unsportsmanlike conduct?
Plus interference. There's no interference there. He had the puck.
Now, Madison never ever did that before. Now, why did he do it? Because he was mad.
Well, your early favorite for the Calder Trophy, that's for sure. Elias Pettersson, you might even say your early favorite for the Hart Trophy.
Just to get back to your question, Elias is going to play plenty. He can play. He's going to get a lot of power play time. And, yeah, I'm concerned about our offense. We lost 200-point players, and we've got to find a way to score.
Not in the rundown, but something I actually wanted to ask your opinion about, only because that came up this week. The PWHL has suggested there will be more expansion next season.
Yeah.
The numbers that have been provided are a minimum of 2 teams, but if you're a betting lady, there will be 4.
Yes.
And then
they
said
sit
there at 12 for a while.
Hold at 12. Obviously, for it to be a real and competitive league, you do need more teams. 8 is just not enough. But it's also hard to build up fan bases when it's like, don't get too attached to your players.
Mm-hmm.
Because they might just go, I mean, like, Sarah Nurse going unprotected in Toronto is one, crazy of them. But, like, 2, it's just like, she's so, like, she's from Toronto. Like, what a good story. Obviously, it's great for us, but yeah, it's going to be hard being on the other end of things because it's not like the NHL where you have these thriving fan bases already. Yeah. It's like all brand new.
And, you know, a point that was raised in the Goldeneyes subreddit, and one that I, don't have, too much disagreement with, is when you look at the PWHL right now in its current state, there's only so many places to bring new talent in from. And that, primary conduit is the collegiate game. I don't have any issue with bringing in more teams, but you have to reach a point where you consider, do we have an adequate player base to do what we want to do and accomplish?
Yeah, totally. I mean, I was talking about this today with my friend Nadine. Like, it's just a smaller talent pool that you're funneling into these teams. Mm-hmm. Like, and it will get bigger and bigger as the league gets bigger and, like, women's hockey support through grassroots is bigger. But it's hard to see because it's like, is the PWHL always amazing hockey? No, but it's a young league and it's getting there. So you're just like, are we diluting it too much at the start?
So I'm of two minds. I think I lean towards, if you're going to expand to 12, but do it progressively. You have 2 teams that just came in, do 2 more and 2 more. However, I understand how disruptive 3 consecutive seasons of expansion will be.
Yeah.
So from a
wouldn't you
promotional and marketing perspective, if you're going to get to 12, you do the 4 next season.
Yeah, and I get that point. Because, like, realistically, what I would love to see is them holding for 2 years, then adding 2 and 2 and 2, but they're never going to do that. And that's just unrealistic to think about it that way. Yeah.
But, I have to imagine the only limiting issue here, maybe money, but if you disregard that part, is just barns for the new teams to play in. Like, it's a single ownership group that runs the league. So, how much ever money they wish to put into it and is really the determining factor.
Have we had anything about cities?
No, I can't say I have. But every NHL franchise, I think, is a target or NHL city because there's, proven opportunity and, hockey is present. Now, it's not to say every single one of them is a candidate, but I'd have to think that would be a lens. And if they wanted to maybe get a little wild and crazy, I hear Quebec City, absent of NHL team, would love to back a professional franchise.
Yeah.
What we were going to talk about in Half Full, Half Empty are the comments that came out about the Vancouver Canucks over the course of this past week. So the word rebuild is a bad word if you happen to be a member of the Vancouver Canucks front office or ownership group. That word gets leaders let go. Whether or not that's true, I don't know, but it does seem to be very coincidental that when leaders propose anything close to a rebuild, a replacement is found. Well, Jim Rutherford has been making the rounds, and as Jim tends to do, he says things. And one of the things that he had said is that the Vancouver Canucks are considering opportunities to make themselves better and younger.
Yeah.
But that's not a rebuild unless that's what the word is you want to call it. But, And he also went along to say that Quinn Hughes, you got to expect he'll stay. We think he will, but maybe he won't. And we don't build our team around one player.
I mean, 1, Jim, yes, you do if that player is Quinn Hughes. And 2, every time he speaks, he just bums me out. He just finds a way to bum me out. Like, yeah. I mean, is it like, I don't know if it was meant to pacify the fans or
did nothing of the sort.
Compromise, because it's not. Like, the whole point is you can't just say, hey, here's Kiefer Sherwood. Don't get me wrong, love Kiefer Sherwood as a player. And he's certainly, him and Connor Garland are kind of the chips on the team. Yeah. But it's like, okay, but he's not going to be like a first line player if you're trying to trade him to a cup contender. That's like Middlesex depth, like to shore up their scoring, and provide that physicality, not this huge. You're not going to get a huge return on that.
Well, okay. So you say they're not going to get a huge return. The scuttle is that there are teams so interested that there's somewhat of a bidding war for a Kiefer Sherwood. Like the fact that Kiefer Sherwood could get a first round pick and more, although that might be more correlating with what the Vancouver Canucks are asking for. I look at it this way. Like if I'm Patrick Allvin and someone says, hi, I'd like to offer you my first round pick this season and this prospect for Kiefer Sherwood. Hey, Kiefer, loved what you did here. Peace be with you.
Yeah. Oh, like 100%. I'm not trying to say in any way that I'm attached until, like the return is huge. But if Jim thinks, oh, that's it, we're done after trading Kiefer Sherwood, like, yeah, I don't think that's the case.
Yeah, I mean, based on what I understand from hearing what Jim has essentially said, what others are saying, everything in Vancouver is for sale.
If it's
To
not
the right buyer with the right
nailed
offer.
down.
Yeah. I think I said this last week. Any one of our listeners knows I was Operation Keep Quinn Hughes. I've resigned myself to the fact that doesn't matter what the Vancouver Canucks can do. He's probably leaving. That pains me to accept that possibility exists. And if you can't keep Quinn, everything must go.
Well, that's 100% it. I think we're both still keep Quinn Hughes. We're just also cognizant of the fact that that's not likely to happen.
Yeah.
And Sarah Sivian called it an all-time fumble by the franchise, which you can't disagree with. Just like honestly looking at having Pettersson and Hughes on ELCs at the same time and just fumbling them massively. Yeah, like, by the way, I'm so over talking about the bloody Hughes brothers. Like,
now, are you saying bloody because they keep cutting themselves on
on
utensils?
knives and anything sharp? But just the fact, do you think, like, I'm sure he loves his brothers. I'm sure it would be meaningful for him to play with them. But if Vancouver were in any kind of decent shape, he would say,
"Oh, he wouldn't lose. He wouldn't leave.
We'll play together in the Olympics or whatever." Like, I really don't think it's that important to him. What's important is Vancouver is messing up the opportunity, and they have messed it up.
Yeah, then that is the sad part that I think hurts me the most. It's not that we had never had a chance; it's that we had chances, but
several.
We've, to what you had said, Sarah Sivian said, fumbled them all.
Yeah, I mean,
and there may be a few more chances that are going to present themselves. It's he's technically a Canuck this season as well as next. You can't talk extension until this season is over. But I also don't think you can, like, if you got a sense right now that he's not coming back, you don't have him go to the Olympics as a Vancouver Canuck. You run a significant risk that he gets hurt, and then you don't have any ability to move. I'm not suggesting you trade Quinn Hughes. I want to keep Quinn. I want him to stay. I want, I will
forever and ever win a Stanley Cup, build a statue of him outside the arena.
Have all the Hughes brothers come here.
Yeah. There's just so many missed opportunities. I know we just do this constantly on the podcast, but just like having young Petey and Quinn and having a chance to like retool around them, and instead you buy Jags in order to get a few games of playoff revenue
and make horrible deals. This is going back to Jim Benning's time, where I remember you and we had an episode where like talking about, oh my goodness, they're going to be out from underneath these horrible contracts. Yeah. This is going to be great, and then they make the OEL deal, and it's like, what? Well, they got Garland, so that's good.
Yeah, and
I mean, in fairness,
love Connor Garland, but
but that, oh my goodness,
that was the 9th overall pick, I think. Like I mean, it's still a top 10, and like, the OEL contract, that's
still on the books because the Canucks bought it out. Thanks, Jim.
Yeah, and like looking back at the JT Miller of it all, I'm not saying don't trade for him, which I did say at the time, but like I'm saying don't re-sign him, pick Bo.
Well, but you could re-sign Miller, keep Bo Horvat if you did not train for OEL.
Yeah.
And I mean, hindsight's 2020, but
also the Miller was always going to blow up at some.
Yeah, no, I'm not discounting that.
Yeah.
But that blow up occurs, and look, Bo Horvat's still a Vancouver Canuck. Go with them punches.
By the way, I'm not trying to say like Bo Horvat is like this like be all and end all fantastic player, or that he could have saved that locker room. But I definitely think that he was a peacekeeper, and he was, it might have been a country club, but no one was throwing punches in the bar in that country club when Bo was there.
Yeah, fair play. Anyhow, before you and I start throwing punches, it's probably time that we wrap things up. It's that point in the show where we talk about how you can, continue to support us, connect with us, and all that jazz. So if you want to connect with Anna and I, best place to do it is C4 Discord, discord.io/C4 podcast. I have done some house cleaning. I know it's still relatively quiet there.
It looks pretty good.
I've done a little bit of organization. I've tried to thin out channels that maybe were underused, and I've hidden others that may come back. But if there's any recommendations that you, our listeners, have, I'm all ears. Please let us know. We'll try to accommodate. You can find us on all the social media platforms, which is absolutely no consistency. On X, we're at the C4 Podcast. On Blue Sky, we're at c4podcast.com, and on Threads at the Real C4 Podcast, and our website, c4podcast.com. You can also support the show financially by going to buymeacoffee.com/C4 Podcast. Buy me a coffee, otherwise known as
Buy Me a Pint.
And you too, like Sean Smith, who is a continual supporter of our show, can buy pints. Sean bought us 3 pints. And why? Why might Sean buy 3, Anna? Because there's only you and me? Well, he bought a pint for Craig. How nice is Sean to buy our robot recording this podcast episode a pint? No clue how, Craig will get to enjoy, but Sean, Craig likes that you care.
Yeah. I mean, if Craig can't finish it, we can help him out.
Yeah. And Sean, I'm not trying to make light of it. You continue to, support us time and time again. And I just, need to give you your due and that shout out. But if you want to be like Sean, or you want to be like Anna's mom or Neil, or anyone else who support us over time, you can do so as a one-off, buying us a couple of pints, or you can commit to support monthly. And doing so, it's like $5 a month or $50 for the year. And you get recognized for and access to the back catalog of C4 Off the Rails and new episodes if and when I get them produced. I think I'm going to get it done around the holiday break. I've got some time
That'll
off.
Be a fun, festive treat for people.
Yeah. But as I mentioned earlier, Lachlan Irving will be joining us at Lock in the Crease. He'll be talking Vancouver Goldeneyes. He'll be talking Vancouver Canucks. He'll be going off the rails because all of our guests do. We drag them there whether they want to go there or not. But Anna, any final words of wisdom to all of our listeners this week?
Sometimes when you move into an apartment building, there are more noises than there are when you live in a house or in a basement suite. So it's not because someone's breaking into a house. They're just going into their own apartment. And sometimes that just, it just sounds a little different.
Unsettling? Yeah, it does.
Final
words of wisdom from me. Don't throw water on grease fires. Not that I did. I did not. I knew not to. But in case you have any doubts, trust me when I say don't. So on behalf of Anna, A4603, myself, Chris at Lightforce, I'm going to sign off this episode on behalf of Anna, Chris, and Craig with We Out.